Buckeye Nation, what's going on? We're back with part two of our two-part series of coaches on the hot seat. Well, not necessarily the hot seat, but with a lot to prove entering the 2025 season. And we got four more coaches. If you missed the first part, Rob kind of led the way with that. Check that out. That's a few videos back. We really enjoyed it. And I think there's some good content in there and some good coaches. But we got four new names for you today. The first up at Florida State. My goodness gracious. Mike Norvell, boy, did he have a rough start. He started out in 2020, the COVID year, so a little bit is forgiven in that, but he took over a program that was really struggling. They went 3-6 in 2020, 5-7 in 2021. Then things started to turn around. 10-3, 13-1, obviously left out of the playoffs, and they hope to bounce back and have a formidable, amazing year to prove to the haters why they should have been in the playoffs. And they end up 2-10 this year. Not only losing the opener to Georgia Tech, but following up with loss after loss after loss. He's entering year 6 with only one ACC championship. And he's got a lot to prove in my mind, Rob. What do you think about that, man? Mike Norvell leading off the list.
I mean, let's look at Mike Norvell since 2020. I think that's when he took over the gig.
Yep,
Uh,
2020.
so 3-6, that was the COVID year. 5-7, all right. In 2021, 2022, 10-3. That's like the results are peaking. Then 2023, 13 and
Mm-hmm.
one. Here's the thing, man. They not only
Finally gets a
missed they
crown.
missed the playoffs. Yeah, they won the ACC, missed the playoffs because they determined that okay, you're without one of your best players, it's going to have an impact to the point where you can't even get in. They make a big deal about it, all these lawmakers in Florida State, and then all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
they get trounced like 63-7 against Georgia, and it's just like okay. There's a lot to prove. You feel disrespected. Okay, come in and prove it. In 2024, it was just a big letdown. 2-10 on the season. Now they better have a quarterback this season because DJ Uyunglele, he
Woo!
he just no man,
Hey,
he
hey,
wasn't it, man. But what I will say is they they uh they are planning they don't struggle in NIL at all. Their planned budget for this season is 12 million. They've had a top 20 recruiting classes. So
yep.
a lot of pressure
There
is going to be on Mike Norvell to start producing again and get back to that 2022 2023 success.
a lot of his philosophy is trying to build through the portal, man. And when you're replacing entire starting units with the portal, man, I just don't see that as a great recipe for continued success. You might hit year to year like you did in 2023, but then you have a follow up year like you did in 2024, and I just don't see it being a repeatable and sustainable method of proper success. I think you can add nice pieces through the portal like you've seen Ohio State do, like you've seen Michigan do, some other programs. Alabama as well has added nicely through the portal. Oregon has clearly added nicely through the portal. But when you're replacing entire teams, I mean, man, you're gonna have this fluctuation in record. So I don't know. Here's my question with Norvell: can he get them back to playoff contention in 2025?
I mean, let's look at the big games on the schedule. Now they have Alabama, Miami at home. That's a
Mm-hmm.
plus. Clemson is away. A lot to prove there. And Florida is going to be away. Now, if they can win 2 out of that 4 games, I say that the program is going in the right direction because if you look at the rest of their schedule, they don't really play anybody. So, I mean, you could be looking at a 2-3 loss season at the most. That's if Mike Norvell has really turned things around, gotten things back on track.
Well, he's going to have a good lesson in leadership coming off of this past year, 2-10, to try and bounce back. Man, we're going to see if he's capable and what kind of coach he is in reality in year 6 here down in Tallahassee. Now heading over to the Sooner State, we're looking at Brent Venables at the University of Oklahoma. Now he's 22-17 in his first couple seasons. at the head of the Oklahoma program. He's been there 3 years now, or 4 years, I should say. And his record in the SEC was 2-6 last year, my dude. Now, I know they're switching conferences, but my goodness, man, like they went 6-7 their first year in the SEC. Transitioning, they talked a big game. We're going to come in, take over the SEC, kind of like Texas did. Well, Texas actually did it. Oklahoma's got a lot more to prove. I think in reality, with the schedule that he sets up, and I'll let you run through that here in a second, but I think he needs to get 9 wins to save his job. And I'm not sure that's entirely possible with the likes that he's got to face this year on this ridiculously tough schedule. They start off with Michigan, but then who else do they have in the SEC, Rob? I don't know if you got that or not, but I got it here if you need me to look at it.
I forgot to get that one. Could you take care of
I got it here, man.
All
so they got Michigan in week 2. Then they play at Auburn. They obviously Texas is in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl Classic. They go to USC. The Gamecocks are looking to be a potential threat this year again, as always. They host Ole Miss. They go to Tennessee. They go to Alabama, and they host LSU, my dude.
Oh,
my
man.
gosh, bro. That could be another 6-7 season waiting upon them.
Yeah, man. I just, man, it's, the case of Brent Venables could, I mean, let's look at his history. He left Clemson, defense coordinating position to take OU job in 2022. We all know
great defensive mind.
We all know how he did in Clemson. 2 national titles. Was the brains behind that. Obviously behind the defense and a lot of the success and recruiting classes that defensively that happened at Clemson. But is this a case of he's just not a good head coach, and he has yet to prove it? I mean, like 2022, 6-7 are all 3-6 conference play. You brought up Texas, lost to Texas 49-0 his first season as head coach.
You sure did.
2023 turned it around. 10-3 overall, 7-2. They beat Texas in the last minute of the Red River rivalry, 34-30. 2024, just big disappointment. It seemed like things were going in the right direction. 6-7 are all, 2-6 in conference. Lost to Texas 34-3. He's down bad. I mean, that's the Red River rivalry, dude. That's a big game.
It's two straight out embarrassments.
A lot of it's a storied rivalry that's been going on for years and years and years. This could also be the case of, he took look who was at Oklahoma before Brent Venables. You had Bob Stoops, like one of the most winningest coaches in Oklahoma history. And then you had Lincoln Riley. Bob Stoops really built the program. Lincoln Riley took it a little step further, kept it afloat. Now, is Brent Venables going to pull like a Larry Coker and just sink the ship? That's yet to be seen. Now, if he can get things going back to 2023 season, look like he was heading the right direction at 10-3. Now we have a case is okay. He just had to find himself as a head coach, but as of right now, we're looking at that 2023 season as an outlier. So.
Yeah, it's looking like more of an anomaly and an outlier, like you mentioned. And man, I'm not confident in his abilities to get it done. Not every coordinator is going to have success as a head coach. Dillon Gabriel, I think, was a large reason why he had a lot of success in that 10-3 season 2 years ago. And with this schedule, like I mentioned, I listed off the top tier games. I don't see Brent Venables making it. I think he'll make it to the end of the season, but I think he'll be let go at the end of the season. I truly do, because there's so much money at stake right now in college football. If you're not making the college football playoffs with a 12-team format, you're missing out on loads of cash, and athletic department's not going to put up with that. So,
yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, it's not like he's lacked top recruiting classes since 2022. It's been top 10, but 2025 has been the lowest in a while, 17th overall. And let's go back to the schedule. So Illinois State, obviously a win. You got Michigan, that's yet to be seen.
Definitely toss up.
What happened to the oh, there we go.
Temple, that's probably no dub.
That's a win. Auburn, that could be a
At,
toss up. Kent State,
yeah, at Auburn.
yeah, that's a win. Texas, I think they're gonna lose to Texas, man. Texas is gonna be a lot
We
better.
bad.
Yeah, I say they lose to South Carolina, man. I think they do. Ole Miss, that's a plot that they could beat Ole Miss, and
It's a
here's
home
why.
game, so that's a
Yeah,
50-50, I would say.
Lane Kiffin is known to drop games that he shouldn't. Tennessee,
That is true.
I think they'll lose to Tennessee. Alabama, we'll see what happens. Now, mind you, they blew out Alabama, uh, the
At home,
2024 season. Uh,
24-3.
Missouri, I think they'll beat Missouri.
Yeah.
LSU, I think they'll beat LSU. So,
Okay. Okay.
it's just, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It
You-
depends on those big games, man. Maybe he'll
Definitely,
surprise us against Texas.
definitely, the Sooner Nation expects a better than a 6-7 record. He's going to have to improve drastically on that here in 2025. Now, staying in the Sooner state. Now, this is not okay. Let me preface this. Mike Gundy. Okay. Now he's been there since 2005. So let me make it clear. He's not on any kind of hot seat. He's not on any kind of potential he's going to lose his job or anything like that. What I'm saying by including him on this list is simply this. Brother's got a lot to prove, man. He was supposed to take over the Big 12 conference with Oklahoma and Texas leaving the conference for the SEC. There was supposed to be a new dog in the conference. Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State finished third place so many times behind the likes of OU and Texas. They were supposed to be the program, along with Utah, to take that next step and become the power team and the power player in the Big 12. Well, they went 3-9 last season when everybody had them as the favorite. 3-9, my guy.
I
2011 was the last time Mike Gundy won a conference title. 2011, my dude, that's almost 15 years ago now, entering this season. It's ridiculous, man. And so, yes, I know he is Oklahoma State's all-time winningest coach with 169 wins. He is the face of the program. So don't get it twisted. He's not in any kind of hot seat. But boy, does he have to bounce back. And he's got to make a statement because they were the favorites and they fell flat on their face going 3-9.
Yeah, I mean, what can we say about Mike Gundy? He's been with the program forever, winning as coach Oklahoma State history, 169-88. You brought up Oklahoma. How are we going to get over the hump? Oklahoma's gone 4-15 against them. So it was just kind of like
Yeah.
them in Texas was in the way of Oklahoma
Yep.
State taking over the conference.
Sure.
Yet to make college football playoff. So let's look at the record since 2021. So the 2021-2022 season, 12-2 overall, mind you. That was a Jim Knowles defense, and that was peak Jim Knowles defense.
Mhm.
2022-2023 season, 7-6.
Yep.
2023-2024, 10-4. So
Yep.
that's
Wasn't it
pretty good.
10-4? Yep.
2024-2025, 3-9, 0-9 conference play. Now that was a big letdown because we predicted
Yeah, we did.
before this even started that Oklahoma State would win the conference, and newcomer Arizona State they took it. So
They got the job done.
so is this a case of okay, like we can't fire Mike Gundy? He's the winningest coach in program history.
Right.
He's done a lot. He's done a lot here. Can we kind of like nudge him in that direction? Kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Shove them in that direction. Be like, shape up, brother. Shape up.
No, kind of like nudge him
Chip out.
towards retirement. Like, hey, man, like you've been here forever. It just seems like you're complacent. Like, you
Yeah.
don't really have to. It just seems like it's kind of like when Mark D'Antonio has his foot out the door at Michigan State. He kind of gave up on the recruiting trail. Just winning and just ever since then, Michigan State didn't recover. So
I think the question that begs to be asked is how ambitious is this Oklahoma State program going to be now? They have OU and Texas out of the way. Are they going to invest and take the NIL to take that next step with the oil, that Boone T. Pickens money, and try and take that next step and take a leap in the college football world and become a national player? Or are they just going to be content with how things are going and how things have been and kind of have a good season every 3 to 4 years, and be content with that? Or do they
I
want to
mean,
become a serious player?
I mean, like they kind of have to, man, because just like they're like you said, Texas and Oklahoma has always been in the way of them taking
Mhm.
the next step. Now that they're gone, it's kind of like there's kind of no more excuses.
Yep.
I mean, unless it's just the end of the road for Mike Gundy, and like I said, he's about ready to retire. So I wouldn't be surprised if he retired in like 2, 3 seasons.
I can see that happening, man. I mean, he is. I think he's in his 60s now. I think when he made that viral clip many years ago, I think that was mid 2000. Said, "I'm a man. I'm 40." Well, you're almost 60 now, bro. But he's getting up there, and who knows what the next step could be for the Oklahoma State program. They could really fall off the face of the earth if Mike Gundy retires, because the Big 12 is a chaos conference now, and it's a lot of fun to watch because there's so many unpredictable variables in that conference. But last and certainly not least on this list, we got Sunbelt Billy Napier. Now that phrase is coined by Uncle Lou here on YouTube. I just love watching his videos. But Sunbelt Billy is certainly on the hot or in a prove it seat, in a prove it moment. He's 19-19 so far in his career at Florida in the 3 years that he's been in Gainesville. 10-14 in the SEC, man. That's not going to get it done. They want to be contenders, not pretenders, down in Gainesville. And obviously, we know it's been since 2009 since the Florida Gators won an SEC championship, so even longer than Oklahoma State. They have not been serious players in the conference. Now, DJ Lagway is a great quarterback, at least a great athlete. He's got some potential at the quarterback position, but he was 40-12 at Louisiana Lafayette and the Raging Cajuns, bro. And it's a big leap up to the big stages of the SEC conference. And his best record, he's been 6-7, then he dipped to 5-7, and then he took a step up to 8-5. So potentially on the right upward trajectory, but still a lot left to prove, an awful lot left to prove. Because even 8-5 is not nearly good enough for the faithful fans down in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, like his overall record at Florida is 19-19, man. He got a
Yeah,
500 record. Like you said,
I can
10-14
cut it.
against SC opponents. Now, we were all saying, he's not gonna make it past the 2024 season,
Sure.
but his buyout is 27.1 million. He's got 0 playoff appearances, 0 SEC titles, 2022 record, 6-7 overall, 3-5 conference. 2023 record, 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference. 2024, 8-5 overall. That's when they wasn't Graham Mertz,
Graham
whatever his
Mertz,
name.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wisconsin transfer.
he when he got hurt, DJ Lagway just took the job over, and they went 8-5.
Hmm.
They had a good win against LSU. They're 8-5
Yep.
overall in 2024 and 4-4 conference. It could have been let's be honest, it could have been a lot worse. So it seems like things may be going in the right direction. First winning season, by the way. So NIL and
Sure.
recruiting. Plans to spend over 13 million NIL in 2025. So that's something they don't like. Let's be honest, man. They benefit really good from NIL, because it's definitely not because of the winning culture. They finished
No.
number 7 overall in recruiting for 2000 uh they 24, and they got the number 3 overall recruit DJ Lagway. Now let's look at that 2025 schedule. But before that, do you look like you had something to say?
Well, I was just gonna say, man,
Or
like Florida in general, just they're a poverty program. Like they've not been very good until the last 25 seasons. Like they have 3 national titles all time. Like they're not an elite program. I want to hammer that home. Like Billy Napier, and Florida have to determine what they want to be. The NIL is there. The recruiting in state in Florida is there. Gems all over the Florida state, all over the Sunshine State. If they want to be a serious contender and a serious player, they have all the resources to be so. But historically, they're not a blue blood. Anyway, pull up that schedule and see what we got going. See if they can do better
I
than
mean
8-5 this year.
go before I head to the schedule. Going back to your point about there's a lot of gems in Florida. I mean, if you look at the demographics in terms of states with the overall just talent,
Sure.
I think it goes It goes Florida, Texas,
Hmm.
Georgia, Alabama, Cal,
California.
Ohio. Just a lot of
Yep.
those, dude. There's a lot of dogs in Florida, man. So like,
There are.
how many of those dogs can Billy Napier keep home? I mean, even the other dude on the list, Mike Norvell. How many of those
Yep.
dogs can you keep home? Because it seems like
Florida's gotten
a lot of
ransacked
them
by the
are
likes
just
of Georgia and Alabama. Oh, sorry. Florida's gotten ransacked by the likes of Georgia and Alabama, and obviously northern programs too for many, many years now. That's why they haven't competed
yeah,
since 2013 when Florida State last won their national title.
yeah. All right, 2025 schedule at LSU, at Miami. Now they could beat Miami. I'm not. Remember, man, the
I'm not high on
Miami
them.
Fraudicanes. They're just not high on
Yep.
them at all. They played Texas. Uh, A&M could be a win, even though it's at home. Texas A&M is at home. Texas is at home, so that could be a favor.
Oof,
Georgia
it's a hot ticket.
Georgia's at home now. Let's see what happens with Georgia. I mean, this
Well,
could
that's
be like a
in
they're
Jacksonville.
they're
So,
yeah, they're losing a lot. Georgia's losing a lot of talent on defense. I think they're like 6 players that go in like first round or so. But,
jeez.
Georgia reloads, and then they have Tennessee coming to town. So if they can win, if they can beat Miami, A&M, and Tennessee, I think that I mean, and possibly get away like Georgia, get away beating Georgia at home. I think that's a win.
Man, that'd be
I
interesting.
do.
Well, I don't know, man. A lot to prove for these coaches. Mike Norvell, Mike Gundy, Billy Napier, and of course Brent Venables. So much at stake for these
I mean,
programs. Not only so much money on the line for making the playoffs or for missing them, but a lot of improvement needs to be shown from these 4 particular programs. But like we said, if you missed the video previously, go check out that video. Make sure you get on that one. Looked like you wanted to jump in here real quick too.
yeah, I was gonna cap off the 2025 schedule of Florida with there's no reason that they can't come out of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't come
And
out of that, LSU, Miami, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Tennessee with only losing to Georgia and Texas. The trajectory is there. They finished off the season strong. Let's see what kind of campaign they can go into for the 2025 season.
it's gonna be interesting to follow, man. I really like seeing Florida down. It's fun to watch them be a downtrodden program, especially since they took a title from us in 2006. But we'll see how the Florida Gators bounce back, man. Let's see what they can do in 2025. But yeah, that's it for this one. Go Bucks and God bless. We will see you on the next one.
OH.
IO.